What if I told you that doing well with money has little to do with what you know and a lot with how you behave? In fact, I would say it's 80% behavior and 20% knowledge. And that's because knowing what to do doesn't tell you what you actually will do when you experience it. See, we've all taken college courses, and throughout our life, we've probably learned about the Great Depression. And in hindsight, it's easy to think about what they could have done, how people acted irrationally, and you realize how bad it was, especially for college students looking for jobs.
You should take defeat personally, period.
And so through this video, I want to talk about the mindset that I've had to adopt through my behavior and through my goal setting, and the actual practical financial knowledge and tips that have worked for me. You see, no matter how cliche it sounds, it all begins with mindset.
Stay hard!
And that starts with identifying your goal. Problem with current investment advice is that they don't mention their actual personal context, their risk willingness, where they're at in life. Whether they're just a broke college student going into the job market and so their risk willingness is higher, or they're a 50-year-old who's planning and preparing for retirement, and so their risk willingness should be way lower. And so I want to be as transparent as possible with you and give you my personal context and why my investment philosophy is the way that it is. I'm a college student and I'm willing to risk more because I have way more time to recover if things don't go to plan. And everything I invest, I'm willing to lose, meaning I have a high risk tolerance. And remember, nothing I say, please don't take this as investment advice. This is just what has worked for me. You see, before I started college, I emphasize the kind of, had a savings goal and a spending goal for each category, so I broke it down to housing, food, transportation, and others. Now, obviously, being in my 4th year now, I've realized what has worked and what hasn't. I've learned to be more realistic with my goals. And that's what I suggest to you, to create these goals for these categories I just mentioned, but also be realistic. Realize that some months life is gonna get in the way and you're not gonna always meet these. But to have these goals in the first place is my #1 key takeaway. The research shows that people born in different age groups have completely different perspectives on the market. And that's the danger we see in the crypto generation that's used to insane results today. Although right now, we're kind of all in the trenches. And so realize this, the time we're in right now. That's why, when you go to your grandma, she'll tell you to buy bonds since that's what worked in her time. And if you probably ask your dad, he'll tell you to invest it in real estate because that's what has worked in his. Now, the second point pertaining to behavior is that you need to plan for the plan not going to plan. Did that make sense? You can be wrong most of the time and still make money. And that's the beauty of portfolios being diverse enough to the point where some of your investments may make money and some of them may not. But as a sum aggregate, they all make you money at the end. And the third thing, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. This was highlighted in a book called Psychology of Money through the man in the car paradox. You see, imagine having a Lamborghini and flexing on people, but the paradox really says that no one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. And so when someone is driving a new car, no one thinks, wow, the guy is driving such a cool car. Instead, they say, wow, if I had that, people would care and would think I'm cool. And this is why we go to the most important part of the video. And that is save, save, save! Building wealth has little to do with how much money you make and a lot to do with your savings. And so the point is to increase your humility, not your ego. You don't need that Rolex, you don't need that Ferrari, you don't need a lot of things that you think. The second point is, even if you don't have a good reason to save, just save, trust me. You see, life is highly unpredictable. A lot of you may have plans of what you want to do, but there's always going to be curveballs thrown at you. And having that extra little buck goes a long way. It's an unseen return. That flexibility that your savings gives you is what can make you stand out in a super competitive world. Another thing you gotta realize is that keeping money is the exact opposite of making money. You see, when you wanna make money, you gotta take that risk, start that business, take that risky career to make that money. But once you have it and you wanna keep it, things like survival, things like paranoia, things like humility are the things that you need in order to survive and to keep them. So realize this and realize that they're completely different ends of the spectrum. And now we move on to the extra juicy part, which is my investments and what I've learned invest throughout college. See, the biggest thing with your financial life and investing is that arranging it in a certain way that one investment or one bad choice financially will not completely ruin. And that's because you want to keep playing that financial game, keep investing until something works in your favor. So during COVID, when crypto was really popping off, before it crashed, I realized that I had too much money in my portfolio allocated to crypto. And so I pulled a lot of it out, and thank God I did, because I would have been completely wiped out. Please let me reiterate the fact. Everything I am investing currently into the market, I am willing to lose. You know, I'm comfortable losing that money, and realize this. Through my goals and my savings rate, I make sure I budget to cover my expenses and have a certain amount of savings before I can even invest. So when I first started investing, I thought the best thing to do was to pick individual stocks and make my own portfolio and hope that I would make money. Versus now, where I see myself more as a long-term investor, and so the best thing I do right now is buy into the market every single day through dollar cost averaging. Now, dollar cost averaging is basically investing the same amount of money in a fixed interval period of time. So every day I'm buying into the market automatically through the broker I use. And so Robinhood has a feature where you deposit a certain amount of money and it will automatically invest to the allocated investments for you. So every single day, I'm investing $5 into 3 different ETFs. ETFs are basically stocks that represent the whole market. So in this one stock that you're buying, there's over 500 to 600 to even sometimes 1,000 companies just in that one stock. Comment down below if you guys want me to go more in depth into these investments. But basically, every day I'm investing into these automatically. So as a portion of my savings rate, automatically I set up where Robinhood deposits a certain amount from my checkings account and it automatically invests it. So without me even lifting the button or looking at the market every single day, which may psychologically impact me and cause me to emotionally invest, I automate this process because of my long-term belief in the US stock market. My second batch of investments is cryptocurrencies. And like I said, guys, everything I invest, I'm willing to lose. But I do have a long-term belief, an outlook on cryptocurrencies and their adaptation to society. So I'm investing every day into them just to average that cost. A coin like Ethereum has fluctuated from anywhere between $900 to $3,000. And if I were to lump sum buy them, meaning that if I were to put all my money and buy Ethereum right now, let's say $1,000, I would buy it at that cost. For example, if Ethereum was 1,500, I would buy it at that price. But let's say instead of that, through dollar cost averaging, I buy a small portion, for example, $5 of Ethereum every single day, hoping to take advantage of those fluctuations in price. So my Ethereum price actually becomes lower than it would have if I just lump sum invested all of my money into Ethereum in that price. These are just my basic investments. By no means is this my vehicle to wealth acceleration, since it's a small amount and compounding would take a long time. But the autonomous nature of it, money automatically depositing into my account and being invested, gives me a way to save while investing into the market. So I'm saving and allowing compounding to work because I have a long-term belief in the market. So thank you guys for listening to my breakdown on my mindset and my practical advice for stuff that has worked for me financially through investments and savings. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just what has worked for me throughout my limited experience. I'm always learning every single day. Please let me know if you guys enjoy these talking head videos and what other types of content you would like to see. As always, remember to stay consistently consistent and click right here if you want to see more of this face.